Hi everyone! In the last couple of days there has been a very interesting development on the internet between two major atheist entities, on YouTube especially. The Atheist Community of Austin, that runs the popular show The Atheist Experience, and YouTube channel Rationality Rules, run by a guy called Stephen Woodford. Now Woodford started mostly with atheist videos, debunking old arguments for God, but eventually he got tired of kicking a dead dog and started talking about other topics, and that's understandable. In one of his recent videos he talked about why he thinks it's unfair for trans females to compete in women's sports. Now, I'm not going to talk about his arguments in that video about this particular topic. There is a very long and thorough response to that video by Essence of Thought. Is in my opinion, a very good response. I suggest you watch both videos, you read whatever relevant scientific information that you get about that, become acquainted with the relevant case studies that were presented in the videos, and draw your own conclusions. I have my opinions about this topic, but honestly, I acknowledge that I am not competent enough to have a final position on this. I still need to educate myself more. My motivation though to make this video is not the debate about trans female athletes, but the disownment of Stephen Woodford by the ACA, the Atheist Community of Austin. Because of his comments in his video, they decided to make a public announcement implying pretty much that they think he's a transphobe and apologizing for having him on their show, The Atheist Experience, where he was a guest twice. And I have a number of issues with the statement, and I have actually a number of issues with the motivations to make such announcement. It seems here is that the ACA is making an assumption that Woodford's video was malicious, and I think the assumption is unwarranted. Now, I've watched the video and I honestly don't think Woodford himself has said anything that could be construed as transphobic. Now, he made some very poor choices for clips that he used in his video, and a very, very poor choice for analogy that he made in his video. But not transphobic, just a couple of blunders that in my opinion was made out of ignorance, not out of malice. I don't see any indication that Woodford is transphobic. Now, I know some will say that because he used a few clips from the Joe Rogan podcast, where Joe Rogan does in fact make a few comments that could be easily construed as transphobic, means that he vouches for those opinions, but not necessarily. The main point with the Joe Rogan clips is the language that Joe uses. And I wouldn't be so fast to call Joe Rogan a transphobic either. I think it's just a poor choice of words and a slip of the tongue, and I'm gonna get to that soon. But it's the assumption that because he used those clips, he condones everything that Joe says, including the language that Joe uses. At least before you make the assumption, you should give Woodford the chance to explain and justify himself. And that is the problem that I have with the announcement. The ACA is simply assuming that the guy is malicious without even giving him a chance to explain himself. I think that is a very unethical thing to do, because, for example, if I say something that people might think it's offensive and provocative and, I don't know, yeah, offensive, whatever, I would like people to give me at least the benefit of the doubt that I was misinterpreted or that I made a poor choice of words in whatever I was trying to express. And allow me to at least defend myself before branding me persona non grata, as they had done with Stephen Woodford. So this is a major issue that I have regarding the whole transphobic accusation that was done to this guy. Now, why do I have an issue with that? Well, I have transitioned almost a decade ago, so I've been through a lot of shit. And I know by a lot of experience that when people talk about these issues of gender and sex and transgenderism and intersex, people are usually so used to the idea of an absolute binarism of sex and gender that they might make a few blunders. And it's not malicious. It's simply because it is something difficult for them to understand. The whole idea of gender and sex is based on a binarism. And try to have a different perspective of gender and sex that isn't binary is a little bit challenging. It takes time for people to really grasp the idea, and sometimes people might say things that they don't realize it's maybe insensitive and maybe a little bit awkward. But you know what you do? You respect them and you understand, and you give them time that they're learning. They are curious and they want to know more about this topic and they want to have a discussion, and that is fucking great. And I think having this immediate reaction, this hasty reaction of immediately shunning people and denouncing people, shuts down the opportunity for having conversations, for having discussions, and that really annoys me. Because the only way, if you want to be tolerated, if you want to be understood and accepted, we need to have conversations with people. And we need to have them, we need to allow people to express their concerns, to express their doubts, and then just talk like normal people without having to point fingers and brand people as evil just because they might have made a poor choice of words during a debate. My second major issue here, and probably the biggest issue that I have, is with a few words that the ACA chose in their announcement. For example, they said that they apologize for causing harm and pain and anguish that having this guy in their show might have caused to transgender people. That bothers me deeply, because that sounds like fucking Christianity. You see, Christianity was a beautifully designed system of turning weaknesses into virtues. And this seems a lot like what is being done here. You see, they're encouraging weakness. You have this institution, the ACA, that is encouraging people to be fucking weak. Like, because honestly, and I'm gonna be blunt here, I'm gonna be brutally honest here, if some guy on the internet saying that trans females shouldn't compete on women's sports actually causes you harm, your emotional intelligence hasn't developed since you were 2. Seriously, grow a fucking backbone. Grow the fuck up. And it bothers me when institutions like the ACA encourage that weakness. Because you know why? I want my transgender comrades to be strong. I don't want my transgender comrades to be weak. I want transgender people to fight for their rights like fucking adults, not cry for their rights like fucking spoiled babies and expect that the adults take charge of the situation. Fuck that. And if you think that I'm asking too much, that I'm being unreasonable, that not everybody can grow a thick skin and can handle this sort of thing, well, I will quote the great Morgan Freeman on that.
Well, everybody can.
And you can too. You can. Don't listen to anyone who says that you can't. You have gone as far as transitioning already. Don't stop now. Don't buy into that bullshit that you need to be protected by daddy state, by the big brother. Fuck that bullshit. You can handle yourself out there. I know the world is a fucking jungle and we are all fucking apes and it's scary shit. But you can handle yourself. Believe that you can. Well, thank you for watching. I hope as a transgender and atheist, I can bring a new perspective to this discussion. Now, I don't know if what I said will make any change, if the ACA will change whatever opinion they have. I thought about calling the atheist experience, but it's unviable for me because of difference in time zones. I live in Australia. It's really impossible. But anyway, I just want people to know that not every transgender thinks that we need the big brother or big daddy to take care of us. I think, and I encourage transgender people to believe that they can handle themselves. I know I can handle myself, and that's why I'm here. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you next time. Cheers.